The crypto market stands at a staggering 3.57 trillion, dipping 3.8% today. But let's face it, we're witnessing a pivotal moment in the digital asset space. Bitcoin has cooled down to 108,000 plus after hitting a new all-time high yesterday, while Ethereum holds strong above 2,500. XRP sits in the number 4 spot at $2.36, down 2.7% over the last 24 hours and 2.8% over the week. Price ranges are fluctuating between 247 and 232. Definitely a space to watch closely. And speaking of XRP, we're just 6 days and 14 hours away from the biggest XRP conference on the planet, happening May 30th and 31st. Tickets are flying off the shelves with only a few VIP passes left. This event is almost sold out, so if you're planning to be there, make your move now. Book your flight, lock in your room, and get ready. This is shaping up to be an unforgettable experience. Let's dive right in. Big news out of Texas. Governor Greg Abbott just shared an article on his X account about the strategic Bitcoin reserve movement. This could mean he's gearing up to officially sign it into law now that it's cleared both the state, House, and Senate. The momentum is building, folks, and it's not just Texas. Other countries are starting to take note too. But that's not all. Over in the Senate, the Genius Act is getting a makeover. Senate Democrats are pushing to block presidents from profiting off stablecoins like USD1. The proposed amendments aim to license issuers, enforce 100% reserves, and establish clear U.S. stablecoin regulations. Trump's World Liberty Financial Group is raising some serious ethics flags. And honestly, this is what happens when you rush too far ahead without oversight. Listen, I'm not here to argue President Trump's doing a solid job overall, but let's be real. His kids stepping in and taking the spotlight on this legislation is giving the Democrats exactly what they need to pounce. And we already know how they think. It's not exactly constructive, is it? So what's the harm here? Sure, they'll add something, but let's face it, this is all about political theater. Nothing is really going to change. They'll move assets into a trust, set up a shell company, or find some other loophole. It's the same old game. This is just posturing. We don't like Trump, plain and simple. But funny how nobody batted an eye when Nancy Pelosi was raking in millions, right? No outrage there. But now suddenly the Trump family's under the microscope. It's all about optics, not substance. Let's call it what it is. You know what? Let's cut to the chase. Just ban it outright. No stock investments for anyone in Congress while they're in office. Simple solution. Put it all in a blind trust. But of course, they won't do it. They'd rather score political points than actually fix the problem. Here's the kicker. This whole mess comes from Senator Lummis. Yes, the same one who snubbed Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple, despite leading the digital assets subcommittee. It doesn't sit right, but hey, credit where it's due. She's not wrong about this one.
Digital assets are the future, and it is our responsibility to ensure the United States continues to lead the way. The uncomfortable reality is that our payment system is outdated. Many of our financial rails date back to the 1970s and 80s, before the internet transformed how we live and work. When a small business owner in Cheyenne uses a traditional payment system to send a payment to a supplier overseas, they face up to 10 days and 2 to 5% transaction fees. This isn't just inconvenient, it's a complete disadvantage to American businesses. But digital assets changed all that. Stablecoins can complete these same transactions in seconds at a fraction of the cost, 365 days out of the year. The Genius Act not only revolutionizes the way we do business, but preserves critical financial institutions, and they need this opportunity. For more than 150 years, our country has maintained both state-chartered and national banks. There are about 5,000 banks. 4,000 of them are chartered at the state level, only 1,000 at the federal level. This system has been the engine for American economic growth, providing businesses of all sizes with diverse financial services tailored to local needs. In Wyoming, we have seen firsthand how state-chartered banks serve the specific needs of ranchers, energy producers, and Main Street that might otherwise have been overlooked by larger institutions. We've also seen how the dual banking system permits states as laboratories of democracy to thoughtfully integrate new products and services into our banking system. Wyoming and other states were the first to provide legal clarity for digital assets and show in great detail how they can thoughtfully be integrated into our payments and contracts. The Genius Act thoughtfully preserves the dual banking system by creating clear pathways for stablecoin issuance under both state and federal oversight. The legislation also protects and builds upon Wyoming's regulatory framework for digital assets that both protects consumers and promotes responsible innovation. This legislation, the Genius Act, is thoughtful, and it's a balanced approach America needs to maintain and grow our influence in financial advancement, and history will remember how we capitalize on or squander this moment. American leadership in digital finance is a privilege. Let's ensure it stays in America and not Europe, not Singapore, not China. Let's lead in this innovation, this technology, this advantage to individuals and small communities. We need American values and American leadership to ensure prosperity in the next generation. Let's get the Genius Act passed and secure America's financial future. Mr. President, I yield back.
She's spot on with that point, no question about it. But what really grabs my attention is her refusal to meet with Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple. XRP offers a genuine solution in this dialogue, yet she won't even sit down with him. It's baffling, isn't it? Now, let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Her son-in-law, a staunch Bitcoin maximalist who frequently bashes Ripple and XRP on his account. Is he her go-to source for all things digital assets? If so, that's deeply concerning for someone in her position, tasked with understanding the space holistically. And this is why I said her idea was great in the clip I referenced. But you know what's an even better idea? Start engaging with top industry leaders in the digital asset world. Leaders who aren't just Bitcoin maximalists like you or your son-in-law. It's time to embrace the diversity of this space instead of dismissing key voices simply because they challenge your narrative. And yes, my phone's autocorrect drives me crazy, but you get the point. Innovation isn't limited to just one camp. Listening to all the players is how progress happens. As chair of the Digital Asset Committee, it's time to lead with purpose or step aside. It's that simple. Why? Let's talk about the evolving payment systems for stablecoins. Take this development, for example. The Euro P becomes the first MiCA-compliant Euro stablecoin integrated on the XRP Ledger. Impressive, right? And don't forget, there's more. On the XRP Ledger, the Braza Group is launching its USDB stablecoin, offering both individuals and institutions a seamless, secure way to transfer value globally. Paired with the BB Real, they're building a scalable bridge for cross-border transactions. Exactly. They're paving the way. Oh, and let's not forget this other exciting piece. Let's dig in.
Hi everyone, I'm Cassie Craddock, Managing Director for the UK and Europe at Ripple. I've been at Ripple for 8 years now, so it's been quite the journey from, convincing banks to partner on a network to send cross-border payments, right through to being able to provide banks and financial institutions end-to-end digital asset infrastructure through payments, through custody, through stablecoin, and through tokenization use cases that we're going to talk about today. I think what's really been interesting from a Ripple perspective, I'm responsible for Europe, and I think what we've seen over the last year, 18 months, 2 years or so is MiCA has really given banks and financial institutions this level of certainty to be able to lean into the blockchain and digital asset space. And so we've seen some really great innovative use cases on the back of that. So, we partnered with SocGen Forge, one of the leading banks here in France, firstly around custody, but now more broadly on issuing their Euro CV stablecoin on XRP Ledger. There are many other use cases that we're partnering, our customers are partnering with us on around money market funds and bringing those on chain. And we're actually seeing that trend continue to increase as we start to see more institutional interest in this space. on the Ripple side, we're solving kind of the trapped liquidity issue with our cross-border payment product and enabling financial institutions to better service their customers by enabling them to have instant real-time payments through a kind of network of partners that enables to move cash from A to B. Now that could be physical cash, it could be stable coins, it could be using XRP, and I think that's a really interesting, use case that we've seen mass adoption over the years from. And then just generally speaking, I think from our perspective, solving that cross-border payment problem was a first step. Doing that and building the infrastructure to be able to do that in a sophisticated way for banks and financial institutions just led us down the path of owning that kind of end-to-end digital asset infrastructure. And so the custody technology was really critical for us to acquire back in 2023 because we know that custody is the entry point. Before you do anything in digital asset, whether you're thinking about tokenization, whether you're thinking about payments or thinking about NFTs or whatever you're thinking about, you need to get your custody right and you need bank-grade custody. And so that critical piece of infrastructure is something that's now enabling us to partner with banks and financial institutions for them to tokenize, for them to create use cases that maybe we don't want to lean into, but to be able to use our technology to do that. I think it's really important, and Adelia and I, we work, given that we're the largest developer on the XRP Ledger, Ripple wants to solve institutional financial use cases, right? But we want to create ecosystems where developers are pushing the boundaries, and I think that's been really interesting to see how these developers or these financial institutions leverage our technology to be able to, I guess, drive the future of financial services forward. User experience. Good user experience means that these, banks and financial institutions or consumers of these products, they need really good infrastructure to be able to power it. They need the right custodians, they need the right wallet, they need the right compliance tools to be able to really kind of power this on a truly global scale. And I think there are early signs and indications that both of these are in place, but I think we have we do have quite the journey to go in order to be able to really truly create this on a global scale.
There you have it. We got the Euro CV, the Euro P. How exciting is that? And don't forget the Singapore stablecoin. Remember, isn't this the goal we've been waiting for? Watching as nations roll out their stablecoins, whether through private issuance or CBDCs. It's all happening. Or is it just me? Am I seeing things? Because this just sure looks like a rollout, even if it's a subtle one. Isn't this what it's all about? Bringing all the world's money onto the XRP Ledger, unlocking its built-in DEX and creating markets like we've never seen before. And as legislation catches up, imagine the real USD joining the XRP Ledger, bridging the gap into the global financial system. Legacy systems are being transformed as the world moves toward tokenization, bringing real assets onto the blockchain. And here's the kicker. Major US banks like JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Citigroup and Wells Fargo are reportedly exploring a joint crypto stablecoin, according to the Wall Street Journal. There's an old saying, don't build the scale you need, buy it. With Ripple and real USD in the mix, these banking giants have the tools to scale faster than ever. Yes, they absolutely can. The XRP Ledger is at the heart of this revolution. It's not about one chain to rule them all. It's about a multi-chain world. With the XRP Ledger and the Interledger protocol, multiple chains can seamlessly connect into the XRP Ledger's decentralized exchange, DEX, setting the foundation for a new digital economy. And when we say it's about all the money, we don't mean just spare change in the couch cushions. We're talking about an interconnected global value system ready to reshape the future of finance. Money, to me, represents every possible combination of value in the world, a limitless network of opportunity. And that's exactly where we're heading. Take Ondo Finance, for example, bringing OUSG to the XRP Ledger. OUSG is an institutional grade product backed by tokenized US treasuries. Yes, BlackRock's Biddle fund now on the XRP Ledger. Are we seeing the bigger picture here? Let me break it down. Translation, US bonds are being tokenized on the XRP Ledger in collaboration with none other than BlackRock. This is happening right now. And you know what's fascinating about this? Let me tell you, Ripple, Stellar, and other blockchains are already tied into the DTCC. And here's the kicker. Swift has declared they're ready. We're not just preparing for takeoff, we're on the runway.
Excellent. What would you say are the biggest challenges facing the industry then as we move towards a more tokenized future?
Well, I think there's undoubtedly real excitement about the potential of this tokenized future. I've kind of said that we're in the digital asset space, we're kind of, to use a metaphor, ready for takeoff, which is another way of saying that in innovation, you classically see a sort of what we might call an S-curve of adoption. So slow start, then steepens as it becomes change that is being adopted, and then gradually flattens off. And
yes, and here's the big picture. Ripple is collaborating with powerhouses like Citi, and they've just acquired Hidden Road. Big moves, right? Now, Hidden Road has secured licensing to access a clearing system handling a mind-boggling 11 trillion a day. But here's the question. How will all that clearing and settling happen? Enter Stablecoin and XRP YARS, it's a security version designed for use within the DTC. This is the kind of game changer we're talking about. 11 trillion in daily clearing. Hidden Road has just unlocked the golden road. Now think about it. 11 trillion daily in US Treasury trades. Let that sink in. And what's Ando tokenizing again? That's right, US Treasuries with BlackRock, and it's all happening on the XRP Ledger. Let me tell you something. There were people, even within our own circle, who spent years insisting we couldn't talk about what's happening right now, right in front of us. And guess what? Those folks are forever stamped on the wrong side of history. They can't undo it. It's out there, plastered all over the internet for the world to see. No takebacks now. What they can do is own up, admit they were wrong. Time for a real wake-up call, and it's coming fast. Buckle up, people. This is big. And while you're at it, make sure you're paying attention to Will from Crypto Insight UK. His technical analysis, next level. You can hear it in his voice. This guy knows the game.
Likelihood is, because of the bearish divergences, because of where Bitcoin is on the liquidity charts I've been showing you guys on X, because of what XRP looks like against Bitcoin, because of what XRP looks like against ETH, I think that the next leg up for alts is imminent, and the top could be in for Bitcoin dominance. And essentially, just to strap in and get ready. Doesn't mean we can't correct, doesn't mean Bitcoin can't correct, doesn't mean that alts can't correct, but it does mean that I think that a move is just around the corner, if not imminent. Like, when I say around the corner, it could be days or it could be weeks, but it could be hours, genuinely. And I would love you to read the newsletter, because I talk about take profit plans, keeping your emotion in check, this sort of thing, because that is what I think we're about to hit that season in the market now, where everyone's going to get a little bit crazy. But yeah, I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to leave you with that. I think that's a bit of an exciting video. It's not really too much information. It's more of like a chat with you. I talked about wave format and wave structure for XRP, where I think we are and where I think we're going. I go into more detail, as I said in the newsletter. We're still looking good across the board for everything, really. That's why I think it just could be time. It really, really could be.
Let me tell you, Will's fired up, and Greg Crypto is not far behind. Fibonacci circles are lighting up the charts. A surge of 1,700% in just 60 days. Wild, right? Wait, what's that? Greg says, if history repeats, XRP could hit $27.00 within the next 63 days. Crazy, but hey, riding the wave is all about taking profits along the way. Smart moves only. No doubt about that. Honestly, this is the kind of stuff that fires me up. I don't need Greg to be 100% right. I just need to see the possibilities he's pointing at. That's the magic. If he's spotting a 63-day window where things could spark, remember, charts are alive. They can shift in an hour, even in 10 minutes. But hey, it gives us a window to watch closely and see if today's patterns play out, or if tomorrow throws us a curveball. I'm loving this energy. It's getting thrilling, folks. And no, this isn't financial advice, just pure excitement. We're stepping into the freedom zone. I hope you'll hop on board. This ride's shaping up to be incredible. Let's go.